Shalom Aleichem. We're learning the Sikha of Noach Aleph. Now, this Farbrengen was a Rosh Chodesh Farbrengen Tafshin Lamed Vav. It looks like it was like a farewell to the guests. I'm not sure. But what's interesting is that when the Rebbe said the Farbrengen, the Rebbe had an incredible Hira, which is definitely not unpacked within the final edited version. But it is so geschmack. And it's worth exploring. So what I want to do is I want to share for those watching the video, and let's learn this together. There are people who ask, what difference? It's there. Who cares about this whole story? So the nafka mina is pashut. The Gemara tells us in Sanhedrin that Sacheriv found a daf, a board from Tevas Noach, and made it into Avodah Zarah. And then we read about in the newspapers that for once in a while people go looking in the mounts of Ararat to find the Tevas Noach. Al Kolpanim sees nit muflich. Still, it's not going to be negated whether the Goyim find Tevas Noach, or someone's eventually going to find the Tevas Noach. I can't see those words. Oder bevia, wird man gefunden dem Daf for Tevas Noach, and then there'll be a question that Sancheriv bowed down to it. Did it become an Avodah Zarah? And it's Asar Barna, or because it's Asay Lecha, and it was given a mitzvah to him, so then it's his nechasim, and nobody else can make it Asar because it's Noach's. And then you'll be able to have any benefits. So that's a very interesting take-home halachic message. And he says like this: Dernach comes the hayra that's negeh to avodah. Like the Baal Shem Tov says that everything that you learn has to have a lesson. And das is a gewaldige limud. That when they tell a yid, as is all wissen sein, you should know that in Torah there's a story. As is given a binyan von a große teva. There was a building of a big teva. And Noach hat sich a ganze mishpacha. Noach has a whole family, und Shnir, I think, and his wife, the mother-in-law. And Mesushelach was still alive. Like Rashi says, they waited for his shiva to be finished. And there was Talmidei Mesushelach. So the Eibishter showed the way. As b'shas etzdetzik wegen bavorin in a mensch as niton aver. When Hashem is telling you to warn somebody else not to do an aveda, aveda should be another lechaveda, because that's the sins of the time. Malar, tzchames, stealing, etc. You can't give it to your wife or your kids or mesushelach or his students. As shreit, he screams as the manigadoy. He's noach. Umedaf bavorin in dimension. As he's an ufhead in tunnel, you have to warn people not to do avedas that they're doing. Is was haste? Noach could say, "What do you mean? I'm the manigador. I have to give my time to klap and brete, to put together a physical building of boards. Makanateva. I have avodim, mishosim, banim, talmidim. They'd sail to Torah. I don't know why I didn't make it into the sikha because it's so powerful. They'd sail to Torah. As Bibal, because we're talking about saving people, even Balei Chaim, animals, or even vegetation, as we know that Hichnis Ismail, he brought in various things. For example, the vineyard, he brought in the vine. You cannot give it to a second person. You're the manigadol, and you have to keep yourself busy. Halton Hashena Drasha. And a drasha Hashem told him to give. You have to give the drasha to tell everybody to bavarin and shidoide. But because Hashem said, "Asay lecha tevas atzei gofer," And we tell him that this is neged to keep 7 people alive, or 8, 7 basically him and his 3 kids and the wives, or 8 with his wife. Is a demolt vibal das der Eberste dat ihm idea given befund, because Hashem informed him, you can't give it to another. So you'll say the question, you have to be busy telling everybody what to do. But Hashem gave you both jobs. So you have to do what it's stated in Shulchan Aruch, to build it. And it's a zichr zach that it won't build, it's a definite thing, it won't confuse you doing the other mitzvah. And it'll be moisef. And you see, that's what he was able to do. He was able to warn people, and he was able to build the teva. However, that is only because it was before Matan Torah. However, after Matan Torah, Moshe was able to say, unless the Eibishter forgives the Oisei Egel. And this is the famous Nekuda that Rebbe says. That's why the Zohar says that Noach's avodah is not the avodah of now, and not the avodah of Avram. Today we have the avodah of Moshe. Moshe Kibul Torah Sinai. Not only do you have to say Musar in a way that Torah says, as Alter Rebbe says in Shulchan Aruch, and not only do you have to pray for their peace, that if the tzaddikim, etc. No, you have to do what Moshe Rabbeinu did, fighting for the Oisei Ha'egel. However, when there's no other way, and in other words, Moshe Rabbeinu davened, he did whatever he had to do. He had to put himself into sakana and say, unless you forgive them. And then that was forgiven. And punkt azoi, just like the story says, is you have to have both. He was accomplished. He got the second luchas, and he was able to get forgiveness. And that's the idah. Even though we see Noach's incredible zlizus, he was able to do both. But nevertheless, you have to be like Moshe Rabbeinu, that fight and actually make it happen. So yeah, there's a lot more to the Sikha, but I think this lesson is so powerful. And Mitzvah Hashem, we should be able to see it in our lives.